Welcome y'all to the Hayden Radio Network, episode 67. 67. Yay. So, this episode is sponsored by, Gatorade, Coca-Cola, Club Crackers, Hunt's Brothers Pizza. So, yeah. 4th of July is coming up. Apparently they're doing a ball drop this year since it's America's 250th birthday, even though we're a lot older than 200. Because, pre-U.S. history exists. I know, shocker. But, yeah, if we're really thinking about it, America's, really over 400 years old, probably. Give or take. Sometime around the 1600s is when it started to get to be like that, Before 1600, it was basically just Indians living there and maybe Vikings, but that's just a theory. They say Vikings discovered America first, 200 years before Columbus or something, 200. Well, the theory is the Vikings came in through Canada. This is so if Columbus founded it in 1490 something, then they probably would have been here probably in the 1200s, probably, if we're thinking. Vikings were a thing, which is crazy to think. The first colony didn't go very well, so they moved it up north, and it actually succeeded. Because I think the first colony was, I believe, I don't know what it's called, but it wasn't Roanoke, but I think it was relatively close to there. The first colony didn't go very well, so they went up north, and the one up north, which ended up becoming Jamestown, was the first successful colony. That was in 1660 something, 100 years before independence. Washington wasn't even born yet. So, I think Washington was born in 1730 or something. Because by time he was a general in the military, that was around 1760 something. This is back when it was still the colonies and not independent yet from Britain. The majority of the nation was under British control, but states like Florida and Minnesota were conquered by different countries. In Florida, it was Spain. In Minnesota, up near that region, it was British and Indian and France. There was a bunch of crap going on up north for some reason. There was a time in between Michigan, Indiana, Ohio region that it was just Indians there for some odd reason, but it was basically just Indians in that region. France pretty much owned the Midwest, pretty much. Mexico owned pretty much everything west of New Mexico was pretty much Mexico. And besides probably Washington, that was British territory for some odd reason. But California was a part of Mexico before it became a state. Texas was a part of Mexico. New Mexico, Arizona, Utah were all a part of Mexico. But Kansas, Nebraska was a part of France. That's why, in those states in the Midwest have a lot of French town names because they were French people before it was a state. Iowa, the capital of Iowa, is a French town. It was Des Moines or Des Moines or whatever you call it. But that was a French town. So, and that's why Iowa's state flag is a French flag, because it used to be a part of France before it became a state. And a lot of the 13 colony states were very much just British people, mainly. Now, the South, you could debate. It was probably just a bunch of Spain, Indians, and some British. Not a lot as compared to up north. It was a lot of British people up north. South of Virginia was all Indians, basically, pretty much. Until about 1830-ish. It was pretty much all Indians. And then Andrew Jackson took all the Indians away, basically, and moved them into, I think what is now Oklahoma. And when they moved all the Indians out, they moved them all to Oklahoma, I believe. And that was like their own territory for 100 years, I think, till about 1920-ish. And then President Coolidge signed the peace treaty with the Indians in that region, so they could inhabit Oklahoma. Because before 1920, you could not, unless you were Indian, you couldn't live in Oklahoma until about 1920. You couldn't live there unless you were Indian, because it was just an Indian reserve state, really. That's why it's shaped like the way it is, because Oklahoma wasn't originally just there. It was Texas territory. They just succeeded Texas and just wanted to be their own thing. So Oklahoma started out as like part of Texas, I think, and they separated sometime in the 1830s, I think. But yeah, I'm out of breath from talking. But yeah, that'll do it for this episode. I will see y'all on the next one, and hope y'all enjoyed it. See y'all.